I mean, what do you think? You think they stand a chance? Well, you're on their side, aren't you? Who are you betting on,
Magic mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest one of all?
Look at these lies.
One shall stand, one shall fall.
Even if one of them survives,
the only way to stop him is to make another movie.
Welcome to the Celluloid Mirror. My name is... What's my name? Sean. My name's Sean, I think. Right?
You're very low.
Am I very low right
Sean?
now? You can't hear me?
Now you're better as the
okay.
music fades.
Oh, okay. Right.
Your voice was very quiet,
Was
though,
it
but I
quiet?
think you're Sean.
I'm probably Sean. I'm guessing, for the most part.
Oh.
Oh?
I realize
What? What happened?
my problem is I had our YouTube stream up and it was not muted. That's what was happening. Just there.
That's
You're
why you had
welcome,
the music
everybody. You're welcome.
Well,
I did that.
You were doing a spot check. You were making sure that the tech was working.
Wow.
So.
Support. That's what that feels like.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
confusing.
I mean, you were the one who was doing it, so I think you still don't know what support feels like, because I'm certainly not supportive. I don't support anything or anybody. Never have.
Well, that was about
never will.
That was about half our allotted time for the intro.
Yeah, just about.
Tell us what we're doing here. What are we doing here, Sean?
So this is the first of a new, maybe more frequent. Maybe not. We're not promising anything. We're bad at that. More frequent, hopefully, short topical episodes of the Celluloid Mirror. So we're still planning to do our comparisons of different films that may not seem to have much to do with each other, and talk about what they do and what they say about each other and life and you as the audience and all of that fun stuff.
Your mom.
Seriously.
That's the main focus.
Anyway, rude.
Shaking my head.
So we're still planning on doing those, but we do put a lot of time into doing those. And we watch the two films and we do that. And oftentimes we want to talk about things that that we're like, oh, we would love to talk about that, but that doesn't really fit the format. So, nobody controls our format. We can do whatever the hell we want. You can't stop us. Nobody can stop us.
They can't stop us. You can try.
You can
see how that works out for you. Nobody has been able to stop us from generating content yet.
Exactly. Not even ourselves. And we've tried.
We've tried.
Thanks.
So what, before we get into all that so today we're going to talk about our favorite films of last year, right? Did you say that already?
I didn't say that already. We're going to talk about our personal favorites of 2025. So that's the plan. Shorter episode, hopefully. If you have been listening, we do go on a bit. We're going to try to keep that under control. And just talk about our favorites of 2025, which I think we both keep a list on Letterboxd. I know I keep a list.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and we will share those lists with you, because that is the only place I want to be found on social media is Letterboxd.
I mean,
that is the only social media.
If anybody wants the other ones, maybe I'll share them so that you can just follow Nicole around and be like, "What you doing, Nicole? What you doing?"
You can share any of my social media that continue to exist. I'm just not going to see it because I don't like going to places I hate.
Yeah, I barely see a lot of it too. So I think I'm just on Blue Sky, and I'm mostly just participating in like writing prompts lately, so which is fun. But
What
yeah.
before we get into all that, what did you watch anything this week? Is there anything topical from this week,
There,
perhaps, that
I mean, I've
you
watched.
saw?
My watching has been mostly lazy, but I did watch Good Boy finally. A lot of people you talked about Good Boy, which was a little different than I was expecting and much better than I was expecting. Like I'd never seen a trailer or anything like that. I just knew, oh, this is a film, a horror film from the point of view of a dog. And I was like, okay. And then I'd heard, and one of the things I appreciated that made me want to watch it more was the production process was that they shot with the dog when the dog felt like shooting, which I appreciate. I've come to appreciate that sort of thing more, even though with my own cats, if I want to hold them, I'm going to. They do not love that. They don't get really upset about it, but they do not love that. I will eventually work the idea of them being allowed to not be held into things, but I'm baby steps. But I've come to appreciate that sort of thing more, the animal choice and stuff like that, because I've been volunteering at the zoo a lot, and that's a big principle at the zoos as far as animals being out or animals that are available for interactions or something like that. It's very much the policy of the network of zoos here in New York that it's like if the animal doesn't want to do it, we're not gonna even try to make them. If we think that it even slightly doesn't want to do something, we're just like, cool, it's not doing it today, which is nice. And so I kind of appreciate that about like the production of Good Boy. I thought it was really well shot. I thought it was really interesting, and how it like showed the point of view of the dog, and it really felt like it was like, oh, this is the point of view of the dog. Its owner is sick, and that's like the scariest thing for the dog. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. I thought it was a really well done, low budget horror indie, and definitely enjoyed and recommended that. As I think almost everybody who's seen it probably does. I can't think of anybody who's like, I didn't like that movie.
I want to meet that person. Like, what's wrong with you?
I don't.
Yeah, true. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
I'm not even much of a dog person, and I'm just like, why would you not want that? The dog is good. It's literally the name of the movie. It's a good dog.
I have to tell you later, Sean, about the conversation I had in class about Good Dog with my students yesterday, because I had my first class of the semester at an institution of higher learning where I teach about editing.
Right.
Because I am a professional.
You are a professional of sorts.
And yeah, I just real quick, I have a problem of that. On the one hand, I don't want animals to be exploited, let alone abused, to make movies. It's not worth it. We should not do it. It is wrong. And on the other hand, when you have very animal forward movies where the animals are all computer generated, on an ethical level, I absolutely think that's the right thing to do. On an artistic level, I fucking hate it. And Good Boy, I think, shows us a third way where you're working with an actual animal, but in a way that at least from everything I've seen and heard, to me as like, an animal loving vegan and all, like I think that is totally great. It's like the dog working with their person at their own pace. The person knows the dog. And, as a person who lives with cats and has thought about this, I will never work with my cats, but I can imagine how you could do it.
Yeah.
And it would mostly take a long fucking time, which is why that movie took like 2 years to shoot or whatever.
Forever to shoot.
But time is ticking by, Sean. We're trying to watch the time. Is there anything else?
I did watch last night. I did watch the new Star Trek series, Star Trek Starfleet Academy, and it was really fun. I feel like, one, a lot of Star Trek fans are really fucking obnoxious, as many Star Wars fans are, and all of that, because they're just like hate all the new stuff. And I'm like, I don't love all the new stuff. Even the ones that I like, I have a lot of criticisms. I have a lot of criticisms of the old shows. And this show started out, well, it's like they're already starting several steps above any other show, because it has Holly Hunter and Paul Giamatti in the pilot. And Holly Hunter and Paul Giamatti sharing a scene as like antagonists to one another in actually multiple scenes in the pilot, and he's supposed to be recurring. He literally has a tic-tac-toe board shaved into the side of his head for a
I like
scene,
that. That intrigued me.
and he's doing his he's a scenery chewer, but that's what you call Paul Giamatti for. He's just going to devour all of that scene, and you're going to have a good time. And Holly Hunter's being kind of quirky and fun, and literally curling up in her captain's chair and reading a book in one scene. And I'm just like, cool, this is fun. There's a bunch of fun characters. It's different. It's one of the first shows that they've done since they've brought the shows back that is from the start trying to move the overall narrative of the franchise forward instead of just doing nostalgia stuff. Lower Decks did it a little bit. Discovery took 2 seasons to be a prequel, and then in the final like 3 seasons jumps forward 1,000 years, and then this series takes place sort of right around the end of Discovery, so it's 1,000 years past the original series, which means that they have all kinds of space to develop things differently, and the environment's a little bit different, and it's fun, and it's a different kind of series because it's not focused exclusively on them, but it's a lot of young characters because it's a school. But all of the instructors are fun, and they brought back Tig Notaro and Tig Notaro's character from Discovery, and Tig Notaro's always like, there's just a lot of actors that are really fun in it, and they brought back Robert Picardo's character from Voyager since he's a hologram and there's no reason that he can't live for another 1,000 years. It seems to be a show that's focused on being fun and being a fun adventure, and that's nice. CBS Paramount is obviously a garbage company that is doing terrible things and hiring terrible people, and I feel bad about that. But I don't feel bad about supporting a show where they use actual actors. And got a little pop up there. The chat it just popped up, but yeah, they could see that chat is what I mean.
Oh,
because I didn't even get a chance to read it, so sorry.
Wait, our audience can see what I just sent you?
Well, not right now, but they could see the little bubble pop up warning saying that there was a thing. So the first couple of sentences, the first sentence or two, it popped up.
Okay, so we'll find a different method of communicating these things. We're trying out a new format, guys.
You need me to wrap up? Is that what you were trying to say?
I'm trying to do something that is new to both of us, which is keep track of time.
Right.
And then it occurred to me that if I'm keeping track of time, I might need a way to communicate this to you. And I thought I was doing that professionally. I was not.
We should have figured that out ahead of time. See, like, this is live. This is what happens when it's live. So
this
if you're
is
not
real.
watching it live, which I don't actually think anybody's currently watching us.
They
live,
should be. They get the authentic.
We didn't announce it or anything like that because we were like, let's just kind of figure it out. But people can watch after and they'll be able to see that. So.
No filter, literally. We tried to take a filter off my face because I look like generative AI. This is just my face.
Yeah, Nicole is in fact real world generative AI. Actually, yeah, I should wrap up though, whatever it was. I enjoyed that show, and I rambled about it. What did you watch this week, Nicole?
The world's on fire, so I've been trying to keep up with things and stay on top of current events by watching Project Runway Season 1, which I have now completed. I didn't actually see it when it originally aired. Now I'm watching Project Runway Season 2, so that's what's happening when I'm trying to unwind.
That's good.
In terms of film, I did see the Mastermind this week and loved it, but spoiler, it's in my top 5 now. So I'm not gonna talk about it now, but I am gonna take it as an opportunity to really quickly highlight a few films that are not in my top 5, but at one point at least were in my top 10. And I need to shout out. One is Eddington. People fucking hate that movie. I really liked it. I think it's gonna age well. Another is One of Them Days, a movie I can't even remember came out this year because it came out, or last year because it was so early.
Yeah.
And it was so good that it kind of already feels like it came out 5 years ago and is just a comedy classic now. Um, Blue Moon was in my top 10 for so long and just got displaced by Mastermind. Also Lurker, I think it's on Mubi. Really good celebrity, parasocial, etc. kind of thriller thing. The Orwell doc 2+2=5, which is Raoul Peck's new film last year. And controversially, Highest to Lowest.
Yeah, that's pretty
That was in my
controversial.
top 10 at one point.
Yeah.
I love Highest to Lowest.
I know. I don't understand it. I found it. I found some of this stuff so. I mean, I understand it. You're a bad person.
Let me tell you. Let me tell you,
know
about.
What? Justify yourself. That's what I would. Justify your opinion.
We can do 30 minutes on Highest to Lowest.
Let's not do. Give me 2 minutes on like what is it? What is it that clicked for you?
New York
about
City.
Highest to Lowest? New
York City. He loves the city. He loves to shoot the city. Spike Lee shoots New York City like nobody's business. He did so many cinematography things in this movie. I think he was just waiting decades to do.
He did do so many cinematography things in that movie. You're right.
And I was here for it.
There were so many cinematography things for that movie.
There was something, just his imprint was on it. And it was like, it's a remake and everything, but it's also such a personal movie to him in this way that that made a lot of the bizarre choices a lot more appealing to me. I'm just like, yes, do that. Like, I'll defend the score. People hate the score.
I hate this. It was super distracting and inappropriate.
Die on the hill that he is paying homage to other movies that have distracting scores. There were movies in the 70s that had a lot of score happening. And I think
it wasn't that it was a lot. It was that
we have cultural
totally
amnesia.
Wrong.
Disagree. It was an interesting contrast. Made me excited.
I think you're giving him way too much credit, but that's fine. We can disagree.
Let me tell you about what my 10 through 6 movies were, though, and I'm not going to talk about them.
Okay.
I will say maximum one sentence about each.
Okay.
Number 10, Mickey 17, underrated. Number 9, Begonia, need to see it again. It might go higher on my list. I really liked it. Number 8, Freaky Tales. More people need to be talking about this amazing anthology film. Number 7, Final Destination Bloodlines. Actually now one of my favorite films of all time, and the one I have probably watched more than any other this year. The fact that it's not in my top 5 just speaks to the fact that this was a real good year for movies for me. And then number 6 is the aforementioned Good Boy. Just barely not in the top 5, and it kills me because I do think it's such a creative and inventive and inspiring film.
Well, since you did those, I will quickly do my bottom 5 there, or the bottom of the 10, whatever. Not the bottom 5, but the 10 through 6. Wake Up Dead Man at number 10. I love the Benoit Blanc series, and I can't wait until we get to stop calling it a Knives Out mystery and can call them Benoit Blanc mysteries, because the Knives Out mystery makes me feel like people are stupid. Marty Supreme at number 9. And Begonia at number 8, which really Begonia was fine for most of it, and then the end happened, and I was like, oh, I love this. The set design and the costume design for the end of the movie is amazing. Perfect. Number 7 is Superman. I love me some Superman. It was always going to end up in the top 10, especially that movie in particular. And then number 6, I feel like nobody else liked this movie, but A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey was just the right kind of quiet weird for me, and was one of the few movies that I left where I was just like, that was nice. I appreciate what this is. There's a lot of little things in it that I really enjoyed. But those are my...
What is that movie? I don't know.
Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie having a road trip. But it's way more surreal than the trailer shows you.
I like those people.
Yeah,
I want to see them
And
have a
they're both
road
really
trip.
good and charming in it. And it's got some great set design, and it's strange, and Phoebe, what is her name? Fleabag.
Bridgers?
Lady. Yeah. No.
Yeah,
You know who I'm
Fleabag.
talking about. The Fleabag
Though
person
I get those
has a funny little role in it. and
Phoebe
there's
Bridgers, not Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who are two different people.
I don't know.
I think
Phoebe
Fleabag is
something.
Phoebe Bridgers. Listeners,
Whatever.
let us know. There's no way we can ever know if you don't help us.
Well, we don't have time to look it up. Anyway,
No.
but we should get to the point of what our top 5 are. What are your top 5 for 2025, Nicole?
Should we do like my fifth, your fifth,
Yeah,
or
let's
should
do
I just
that.
run down?
Let's go back and forth.
Okay. My number 5 film is Friendship.
Okay.
The Tim Robinson platonic erotic thriller comedy.
Very much a platonic erotic thriller. Yes.
I think that genre description explains a lot of why I was so delighted by this film.
Absolutely.
It's very funny. If you like Tim Robinson's shtick, I do. I enjoy his shows. I enjoy his comedy, and I thought this movie was so fucking funny and enjoyable, and I've watched it a couple times. I will watch it more. I hope Tim Robinson makes more of these like comedy thriller type films. They really work for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What was your?
My number 5 was Mickey 17. I felt like it was very funny. It was a fun sci-fi adventure thing of sorts, and like there was a lot about what it was that I really worked for me. You know, there was a little bit, I was thinking about it again to what to talk about, where there was a little bit where I kind of felt like the movie was almost a fuck you specifically to Elon Musk about about the way that Elon Musk responded to Parasite, because it was very like Mark Ruffalo's character is definitely basically like Elon Musk being an idiot going to space, not knowing what the fuck he's doing, and just like talking a lot about, you know, whatever his idea of shit is, being a fascist, being a piece of shit, and then being completely incompetent. And I think that was great.
I feel like people didn't like that movie very much, and all I can figure is I feel like when Bong Joon-ho does English language films, they seem to be more polarizing, at least to English language audiences. Like a lot of people are like, Okja, you know, Parasite is great, but like Okja is a total mess and Mickey 17 is a mess, and I don't agree.
No, Mickey 17 is not a mess. It's extremely
It's so good.
It's like people who are like, that's a mess. I'm like, how? Where is the mess?
Where's the mess?
It's well structured. It's got great dialogue. There's great performances in it. There's no mess.
Pattinson's
You're
so
incompetent.
good.
Anyway, what's your number 4?
My number 4 film is a popular film this year, One Battle After Another. There's a lot that's been said about this film. My take that all I really have to add is it's funny because it's obviously my number 4 film of the year. I really like it. I saw it twice in the theater. I would have seen it more. I would like to see it again. As Sean has heard, one of the things I love so much about this movie is seeing it with an audience and seeing and hearing the audience reaction to this film specifically is something I didn't know I needed in my life. Leonardo DiCaprio falling out of a tree isn't something I knew I needed in my life. I did. I laughed my ass off both times, and I'll do it the next time I watch it too. To get back to what my point was, I really love this movie. I also have criticisms of it, so it puts it in this funny category of being a movie I do really love, but also feel kind of like a hater about, because I do have some criticisms, and it's not like just my number 1 movie of the year. That said, like, it's my favorite Paul Thomas Anderson film, I'm sure, by like quite a bit. I do think it's an excellent film and an important film for a lot of reasons that are bigger than the quality of the film itself, but are more about the moment the film is being released in. And much like the topic of our film, if only we had a film about this, of our podcast, podcasts, they're just what we have now. And I lost my train of thought.
much like you're talking about One Battle After Another. Are you saying it reflects the audience? And
Oh yeah, what it reflects about our moment and how audiences are receiving it in our moment, given that something that I think isn't talked about enough is like One Battle After Another is based on like a Thomas Pynchon novel that's about like 1960s or early 70s revolutionaries. Like the whole story in the novel is set decades in the past and makes a lot more sense because as someone who was involved in like anti-immigrant detention activism in the early 2000s, we didn't have that stuff going on. We did not have the French 75 liberating detention centers and stuff like that. I think there's something very interesting about just transposing this story that was set in a very specific moment into a different moment and seeing how people receive it and what is seen as being like, oh, this is just realistic. And what is seen as being like, oh, maybe we're 2 steps away from this, or maybe this isn't as bad as reality is right now, actually. And I don't know. I got a lot to say about One Battle After Another. Number 4 movie, best Leo performance.
maybe we'll have to find something to pair it with, and we can talk about it in more depth.
Chase Infinity is great. What's your number 4?
My number 4 is Sinners. I really liked Sinners. I was really excited about it when I kind of first saw that it was coming out. I had to stop like trailers when I realized they were starting to give away too much. And I think one of the things that it didn't help my viewing of it was knowing that it was a vampire movie. I think I enjoyed the movie. I it's in my top 5 here. I think my first experience of it would have been better if I didn't know, because there was a little part of me watching it the first time that was waiting for when they were going to show up, that was anticipating that. And which is, that's a problem on my side. This is also why there's a lot of stuff where I try not to watch too much as far as trailers, because I'm trying to have that experience. But like with Sinners, it was as soon as I figured out there was that like reveal, I started scrolling past anytime there was like an ad or something like that quickly, so that I wouldn't get too much more, because I already kind of knew it was messing with me a little bit. But it's really well done. There's parts of it that other people complain about, like the big dance and music scene. They're like, I don't know if that fits, and
that's
or
the best part of the
great.
whole movie.
No, I agree. I think it's fantastic. But I also knew watching it, I'm like, people are going to complain about this part, or I'd already seen people complain about that part, and
they wanted him to cut it.
Yeah,
I know they wanted him to cut it.
Yeah, I think I heard something like that, and I'm just like, no, this is great. This is like, that is one. If it didn't have that scene, it wouldn't be in my top 5. Like, I liked the rest of it. I love the end part. I love the very end. I love everybody's performances in it are great. But without that scene, I would have been like, this is fine. It was excellent. It's been a long time since I watched it. So I don't think I have much more specific right now to say about it. So what is your number 3?
My number 3 movie is the one that displaced my beloved Blue Moon from the top 10, which is Kelly Reichardt's The Mastermind, starring Josh O'Connor of your beloved Wake Up Dead Man, which I did enjoy also. Just watched The Mastermind this week. It's kind of being discussed as Kelly Reichardt's heist movie. That's technically correct in that is an important part of the plot. It is, as you might expect if you've ever seen a Kelly Reichardt film, not a traditional heist movie. It's not a like suspense thriller excitement. It's a little quieter, and it's not about the heist. It's about the Josh O'Connor character who plans the heist and how his plans impact the rest of his life. I don't want to give too much away, but I will say it's one of those movies where I didn't really know that much about it. I knew Kelly Reichardt, Josh O'Connor, something about an art heist. That's all I knew. And it was one of those things where you're watching it and you're like, oh, I think I see where this is going. And then the ending was one of the best film endings of the year to me. It's one of those endings that really speaks to a thing that I know you and I, as media educators, talk about a lot, about how like how you open a film and close a film is really important because
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
you know why. And whatever you're leaving the audience with, right, is going to be like the freshest thing probably that is going to be what they're seeing your whole movie through when they're trying to figure out what they thought of it. So if if you leave the audience on a real high,
Mm-hmm.
like that's kind of the most valuable place you can put the strongest part of your film is the end, because it's going to have more weight. And I mean, the Mastermind's great all through, but the end delighted me so much. And it was one of those things where when it happened, I was like, oh, this is the end of the movie. And I knew it, and it was perfect. And I literally clapped my hands at home with other Sean because I
Okay.
was so delighted. And I'm like, yes, that is what happened to that is what happens to this character. And that is why the Mastermind actually would be a great double feature for us to do with Marty Supreme. They have a lot in common for me, in that I think they're both films about a particular kind of dude that are really films about this country. And The Mastermind, very, very great film that's secretly kind of about political neutrality and the impossibility of it. So
Okay.
that's what I would say. You should watch it. It's on Movie.
Do I have Movie? I
We
think I
can get you
canceled my
Movie.
Movie. Okay.
Yeah, but we can get you Movie. What about you?
My number 3 was Friendship. We already talked about it a little bit. I think
So good. We saw it together.
we did, and I think
As an example of our friendship.
Uh, no, I think it was really fun. I think it was a good. The thing about it, it's got that erotic thriller aspect to it, and it's got that his awkward humor to it. But um, there was something about the way it depicts friendship and friend groups and the ins and outs of them that and just kind of like being like on the edge and maybe getting into a friend group and like the awkwardness of all enhanced to a certain degree that was to a certain ridiculous degree, but there was just something about it that like the absurdity of it was also very realistic, and it was a lot of fun in that sense, but also even like just the way that the Paul Rudd character was also like not all that he kind of seemed to be.
No, he had his own secrets and
Yeah,
weaknesses. He wasn't just the coolest guy on the block.
yeah, because I think that there would be a lot of ways of doing that movie where he would have been, but I think it's just like everybody's a mess. But this guy, the Tim, what's his name? Robinson guy was just particularly like one of those like, oh, you're just making the worst decision right now. You're just gonna make okay. I know I haven't watched as much of his stuff as you have, but I've watched like several episodes of like the Detroiters, and I think a little bit of I Think You Should Leave, and that that thing. I think it worked really well for this, so it was good. I enjoyed it. What's your number 2?
My number 2 is Marty Supreme.
Okay.
A film that I need to see again. I've only seen it once. It's a film that's gone up in my estimation since I saw it. Like I liked it a lot when I saw it, but it wasn't my number 2 film of the year. It was like hovering lower in the top 10. The more I think about it, the more I fucking love this movie and think it's a lot better and smarter than I originally gave it credit for. A lot of what I'm thinking about with it right now is I as a Jewish person and filmmaker have been thinking about Jewish cinema recently. What is that? What has it been? What is it now? What's going on in it? What of it do I like? What of it do I not like? What themes are we seeing? Whatever. That's going on in my fucking brain. And I think Marty Supreme is actually a really great movie that is very specifically about a certain generation of Jewish people in the United States post-Holocaust and psychologically what was going on with, my family back then. And that's who the Marty Supreme character is. I think he's an asshole, but he's a realistic asshole who makes sense. He's not just like a demon from hell. Like, he's a damaged person who is moving through the world, and all the other characters are as well. Everybody's damaged. That doesn't mean, oh, poor Marty Supreme, I want to fix him. It's not that. He's an asshole. But he's an asshole I felt like I had a lot of insight into watching the film. And what's more, while I think it's a very specifically like Jewish immigrant, right, post-Holocaust story, I think because it's so specific and spot on in this way, I would guess a lot of people outside of those demographics entirely will relate to it. I would guess that anybody who sees themselves as having immigrant family who came to the United States, not on like the fucking Mayflower.
Right.
There are going to be aspects to like intergenerational trauma and vulnerability and opportunity and the American dream lie and all that shit is going to like, the particulars are about this situation, but the broader themes are like, that's just a US immigrant story, right? I don't think, I would guess, and you can tell me, I don't think you have to be Jewish to see yourself in this story.
I don't think so. I think a lot of people will probably like see familiarity in not the specifics, but in the broad strokes of it. Yeah. And I mean, also like, enjoyed the movie. It's just lower on my thing.
Yeah. What was your number 2 though? Because I could keep talking about Marty Supreme.
My number
for a
2
while.
is Him, which is another one where it seems like I'm like the only person who liked it. Honestly, my top 2 are my top 2 because, well, I feel like there were a lot of good movies this year. There's a lot of like good movies. There's not really, or this year, 2025, there was also not that many movies where like I was like excited. Like I was just like, oh my God, this movie, I love this movie. Through 2025, and maybe it's mostly just me and just where I've been, but it really felt like, the closest I got was these top 2, and Him, like it's weird and like kind of beautifully shot at times, and an interesting sort of approach to some of the imagery to it, and Marlon Wayans is terrifying and also very funny throughout the film. And like Marlon Wayans really like sold a lot of it for me. He was just like the intensity that he was bringing to that was great. And criticism of football, I don't like football anyway, so like that, I'm all for that. I find the whole football culture weird, so that was just speaking to me. I was just like, yeah, this is fucking weird. And I don't get it, so it just worked for me on that sense. Yeah, I mean, I think it was one of the movies that was closest to the kind of movie that does get me like, oh, this, I love this, I want to see more of this, and so that's why it's up at my top 2.
Him is your highest to lowest as far as I am concerned, of that. I'm like, I have to say, I love that it's your number 2 film of the year, and I kind of want to just do a whole episode talking about it, or maybe we could do that in highest to lowest or something, and like have them fight. Because like I was very excited for Him. I thought the trailers looked great. I don't like football. I think football is a problem in a lot of ways. I was like, cool, here's a horror movie about how, US American football's kind of culty, and we sacrifice young Black men, like literally, to this religion we have, right? And I was like, word, I'm all for this. Oh, this looks really, I love these visuals. I'm really excited to see where this is going. And then when I watched the movie, I felt like it was just a long version of the trailer. I loved the visuals. Visuals were great. I thought the sound was great. I thought some of the performances were very good. I'm curious to see more from the director, but I just felt like it was a long version of the trailer and it didn't develop any of the themes that were just right there on the surface in the trailer. Like, I really liked the first 10 minutes or so, but once they got to the football compound, and I kind of was like, oh, I don't think there's going to be anything more to this. There wasn't. I felt like the movie was kind of treading water, but I do really hear some of what you're saying, because I think we talked about how in a lot of ways it reminded us both of Neon Demon.
Yes. No, you said it did, but I think I just acknowledged that.
Okay. Yeah, because like Neon Demon is a movie that continues to inspire me on a visual level. I think about a lot of those visuals a lot, but it doesn't.
And it's also a very like thin movie as far as like, I think that's one of the things that I don't have a problem with that I think other people do with him. I'm like, yeah, no, this isn't like, this is just doing what it's saying it's doing. It's just doing it in a visually interesting way. And it's not, it's just like, no, I'm not going to be subtle. I'm just doing the thing. And I mean, obviously I want depth and all that to what I'm watching. But also if you just want to make an interesting, weird ass movie and you're just going to be like, you know what, it's already kind of weird and kind of out there, we're not gonna get subtle with anything. We're just gonna fucking do it. I'm all for that. There's too many movies where it's just like, well, we got to make sure all the plot stuff works. I'm like, make sure all the weird visual shit works. Have all these little nuggets where I'm like, those aren't mannequins that they're shooting in the shooting range, and stuff like that, where they don't actually show it, but it's there, and stuff like that. So, and just like unnerving things, that isn't. It is just kind of treading water, but it's treading water and being like, and now look at it this way, and now look at it this way, and here's some weird shit, and here's Marlon Wayans being. I'm fixated on Marlon Wayans in that movie. Sometimes it's just, yeah, it's just, that's all I want. I don't need it to be that deep. Anyway, we should talk about your number one, though.
Yeah, I respect that. It just felt perfume-y to me, It did, but that's the beauty of cinema, It's subjective. We don't all want the exact same things. My number one film of the year is Sinners. I think on balance for me, it was just the most impressive film of the year in that it was so ambitious and in so many ways such a clearly uphill battle. And I thought Ryan Coogler pulled it off so impressively. The aforementioned scene that some people don't like, that's the big dance music sequence, to me is absolutely the heart of the entire movie. I don't know how I'd feel about it without it. I think I'd still really like the movie, but that was the scene where the first time I saw it in the theater, that scene came on and I was like, this is great. This is movie magic. This is stuff you can't do in other forms. And it is speaking to me and it is making me feel feelings. And if some people like that scene went over their head or over their heart or whatever, I'm just sorry for them. Over their heart? That was corny.
That was very poetic or something.
Thank you. There's so many things I love about this movie that I just forget because there's so many things I love. I forget that Saul Williams is in it. That's pretty great if you're me. I forget about the amazing credit sequence that I am not going to spoil in case anyone hasn't seen Sinners, because it's so fucking good. I love the costume design. I hope at the Oscars this year, Ruth Carter did the costumes, right?
I have no idea.
I think I'm quite sure it was Ruth Carter. The costumes are amazing. You're dealing with like different eras and doing so many fun things. The performances, the blend of genres. I hear what you're saying about it would have been nice to be surprised about the vampires. But one of the things that impressed me so much about this movie is that the first time I saw it, I kind of forgot about the vampires.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just watching like this historical drama about these two brothers and they're like, you know, ripping off gangsters and stuff. And I was very interested in like this town and the dynamics and the characters and them setting up their nightclub. And it was, you know, this is great. And then I was like, oh right, and now there's going to be vampires.
That's what I wanted, and unfortunately, like I was looking for the vampires, and so that was, and it was a me as an audience member experience thing where I needed to not have that, because I was into that stuff, and I'm like, this is pretty cool, but they're supposed to be vampires, right? Oh, they're going to do it at this. Like my brain was, it might have been just the day I went to see it, stuff like that. So.
I mean, for me, it just really worked. And it's just like the complete package. It's a full meal, right? It's like Ryan. And part of why it's my number one is also seeing it like in the scope of Ryan Coogler's career. And I'm just like, good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, good for you how you built and you did your big, enormous blockbuster genre movie. And you parlayed that into getting to do this, which hardly an original script, not a fucking IP.
And then you continue to own it, and like all of the other stuff about like that's kind of pissing some people off. And you know, I mean, there's the bleak sort of view that sometimes I have where I'm like, he's probably going to be the last one who's going to be able to do that because the industry is.
Oh yeah.
Falling apart.
But I'm going to enjoy that he did because he took his shot and he made something with it. And he made something that I think is going to be a classic film. I think we're still going to be watching this film if we are still watching films in decades from now, and it's going to hold up really fucking well because it's funny. I actually, in a way, my top 5 are all kind of like American stories. They're all like very, very specific US American stories, like Friendship 2. That's like maybe the kind of like
that's
macro,
very...
like micro interpersonal level, but that friendship, the central friendship, I feel like is
culturally it's very like all the stuff about it's very American.
Yeah, you could do a version of it, I'm sure, like anywhere, but this version is very about US masculinity and alienation and challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Poor men,
I guess.
What's your number one film?
My number one is again a thing that I'm pretty sure I genuinely think I'm the only person who watched this fucking movie. It's also one of the only ones that is even on my list from 2025 that I watched more than once. Like Superman, I watched more than once, but I was going to because I'm a Superman nerd. And then we also
Superman's really good. I watched it more than once.
Yeah. But Odessa.
David Corn Sweat's hot.
Is the Odessa is the one that is at my top number one. It had sort of a advertising campaign, at least here in the city when it was coming out. It was streaming on Hulu, and I was like, oh, that looks kind of fun. It looks like it's a sort of rock opera sort of thing, post-apocalyptic rock opera sort of thing. Sure, that'll be fun. And then I started it. I was watching it on my own, and I started it, and that's what it was. And I was also really, really frustrated when I first started watching it because it was a movie that was shot for being seen on a big screen, and it got stuck in streaming. And I still haven't gotten a chance to see it on a big screen, but it has these great big shots. It has that sort of like rock opera, sort of Western, like it has sort of an Appalachian Western type of vibe to it in the music and the style. And, Sadie Sink does a really good job in it. And, it's, there's a bunch of other, Regina Hall has a really great role as the villain in it, or a villain in it. And
I gotta watch this. I forgot she was in it. Yeah. I mean, I wanted to watch it anyway, but
it's again, it's like him. It's like one of the few ones where, it's as close as I got to being like excited about one of the films. One of the things I enjoy about it also is, you know, one of the things that I'll think about sometimes, I'm less of a fan of them than I used to be, and I was never that big of a fan of them. But at one point, The Who was planning to do this big rock opera thing, kind of like Tommy, but a big, basically post-apocalyptic thing called Lifehouse. And the way that it was supposed to work, if they were doing it in concert, there was like a whole thing with computerized, like taking like the biometric data from people in the audience and like having that encoded in a way where it could be fed into a computer during performance, so that the finale of the film, that would be generating part of the music for the, there's a, like if you go into the Wikipedia for The Who's Lifehouse, but the storyline for it is similar in that it's basically like some person, some young person in the you know, in this rural area, kind of rising through the power of music to topple the villain. And two of the biggest songs from The Who were originally supposed to be part of it, which are Bob O'Reilly was the hero's anthem from this never produced rock opera, and Behind Blue Eyes was the villains. So two of my favorite songs from the band. So there's a part of me that always kind of wanted to see a version of Lifehouse. And I think one of the things that I really liked about Odessa is it kind of depicts what I like. It's very different, you know, it's much more queer. It's got a female lead. And it's also just, you know, the music styling is very different. But it has kind of this vibe, and it's also why I like a animated film that came up in one of our conversations recently, Rock and Rule, very similar sort of thing. You know, so it fed that a little bit for me. I was like, oh, this is like if we ever got Lifehouse, and that seems like it was nice for that. And again, it's very colorful. And it's weird, and like the plot line probably doesn't hold up very well, but I don't fucking care. Lots of music carrying it forward. In some respects, it has. In some respects, there's parts of it that are a better remake of The Running Man than the Running Man, the new Running Man adaptation, which was fine, and it's not that low on my top list of 2025, but it has like vibes of the 80s Running Man as well. So it had a lot going for it for me, and I enjoyed watching it a couple times.
Well, you've sold me. I want to see Odessa, and I'm also realizing that it's funny. Both of us, our number one films of the year are very much in the kind of music is magic category. They're very music forward films that where also like the music and also music conceptually, thematically is like really central. And I think that's interesting because like we both like musicals a lot, and like look, I loved K-pop Demon Hunters. It didn't end up in my top 10.
No.
It was
I
at
liked
one point.
A lot, but it was, I don't think it ever
Yeah,
really ended up
it's
in my top 10. It's in the 20s.
It was I've been listening to that music, and my nieces really like that music.
Sure.
And that goes a long way. But point being, there wasn't really, I mean, Freaky Tales music's, I mean, Sinners is the most like music central film in my top 10 by a lot, and it's number one. I think it's the same for you with, I mean, you've got Sinners in your top 10, but
I got Odessa and Sinners, and yeah, nothing else really is very music centric in my top 10.
I think part of what excited each of us so much about our number one films of the year was specifically how the music was used in film. I think that's something we both like a lot. And
on that topic, though, I will say that almost reaching my top 10 at number 12, right behind Freaky Tales, which is number 11, which I also love Freaky Tales, is Song
Freaky
Sung
Tales
Blue,
so good.
The biopic of sorts, the very changed as far as details biopic of the couple who covered Neil Diamond songs, which was a lot of fun. And honestly, weirdly, Jim Belushi is probably one of the reasons it's so high up. Jim Belushi has an amazing supporting role in that movie. I have never liked Jim Belushi more than in that movie for just the, he is, I was thinking about this the other week, I may have posted it somewhere. If you love John Wick, one of the things that sells John Wick and makes John Wick work as a movie and as a character is John Leguizamo. Because John Leguizamo is scared of him and is like selling you on, like, this isn't just Keanu Reeves. This is John Wick. And John Wick is a badass. So Jim Belushi's character is that, but for how amazing Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson's characters are and how much you want to support them. So they knew enough to know, we don't need you to, we don't need, if the audience, to convince the audience, we need a character in the film that is so on board. And there's a couple like this, but Jim Belushi sells it. So yeah, so it was fun. Anyway, we could keep talking about this. We babble. And we did say we would try to keep it tight. And here I am not really doing that. But that's what we have. Hopefully we'll have another episode soon. We won't promise a timing, but we're going to try to do these more often.
Let us know if there's anything you want us to talk about. Maybe I can make Sean watch Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere and talk about how it got a bum rap. I'm not saying it's a great movie. I am saying it is a better musical biopic than that Dylan thing everyone loved. That's what I'm saying.
I will probably watch that one. The Dylan one lost points because I don't really like Timothée Chalamet and I don't really care about Bob Dylan. So I appreciate Bob Dylan's place in music. I don't care.
There also was a really good doc about Sly Stone called Sly Lives that I want to recommend. And now I'm going to shut myself up because I'll talk forever.
We'll both talk forever, which is why we're trying to time ourselves better. Anyway, let's say goodbye. Can you say goodbye, Nicole?
Goodbye. We have 15 seconds to stay under an hour. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
All right. And goodbye. The Celluloid Mirror is a production of 4 Mile Circus and is hosted by Sean Mannion and Nicole Solomon. Learn more at 4milecircus.com. To keep up with the next episode, make sure to subscribe and click that button to get reminders. You can also join our Patreon at patreon.com/4milecircus. All the links are below. Our opening and closing music is Twisted by Kevin MacLeod. You can find his music at incompetech.com.
I ended up in that hall of mirrors. There was another girl. She looked like me. Exactly like me.
Can you come with me in my dreams?
That'll do, babe. What happens when the story dies? The evil is set free.
I have to return some videotapes.